can start. Welcome. This is EmberJS live coding. I'm going to cover a bit about the last talk that I talked about some concepts of Ember, and today I will try to develop some of those concepts here so you can see in practice how Ember works and how to build a simple application applying Ember concepts from the ground up. Okay. So when you go to EmberJS website, you can see that on the front you already have a download the starter kit button, and I'm going to show you how this starter kit looks like. Okay. Um, Here it's already downloaded, so I just unzip that. I can just scoot it over. Um, so we have a CSS folder, an index JS folder. Let me show you this index because this might look good to you. So this is the the main stuff that you get from index, but we have several stuff running behind that I'm going to show you here. Okay guys, this is app.js, which comes to be the main, the core of the functionalities where Ember applies itself on the application. Okay, here on the first line we have the starting point of everything on Ember. We have a declaration of an application to be created. This router map is where you can put your routes, so you'll be able to go to several uh, spots on your application. I will go that deeper later. And here we have the index route that is modeling and simple array that we are showing on the index.html. Let me just open this as well. Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, so this is index.html. Here we have simple title to the title of the page, and on the body we can see that we have two script tags that comes from handlebars template handling. So this first template is the outermost scope that's called the application scope or the application route. It will, this is your ground to build your application. So everything that you put here will be available on all pages, and then you can construct your layers up from this application template. Okay, so the next one is the index that is constructed above the layer of application. The index is obviously reached when you start an application and you don't have any route. Here you can see that when we load our file, here we don't have slash anything. So this is the index of your application, okay? It's the same concept of HTML stuff. Um, okay, so here we have dependencies on jQuery that Embers does. That Embers has to include jQuery to work. It heavily uses handlebars, as you can see here, and the app.js, which is the core of the Ember functionality. Let me go over a little bit on this each block from handlebars that is iterating over that array that I showed on the example before. I think if I just lay out this in 2 rows, it will be more, it will be better for, oh sorry, like this, okay?
Okay.
I think the view is better, right? Okay, let me scoot this over, all right. So, you see this ID here? This ID can also be placed here as a data template name. What I mean by that is that this index is binding through naming conventions to the index route. All right?
Yeah.
So, Ember happens to rely strongly on naming conventions. So, we have these role models called convention over configuration, and also the naming conventions is very strong. So the deal here is that when you reach this sort of scope of the index route, you're accessing everything that is inside the route. And by this, each block, I'm retrieving the model and iterating it with the item variable. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. I just wanted to show you guys that Ember already provides bunch of stuff on his starter kit.
This is from handlebars, no?
This each block, yes, but the way it combines with Ember, I'm just explicing it right now. Okay.
No.
So here we could also have some other structures to handle the same data, like an index controller, an index model, but the model by itself is already being passed with the route object, and the controller is not needed because we don't need to handle any actions or this kind of stuff. So Ember already boilerplates lots of stuff for you, and you can quick start with less code. Okay. So let me go here just to open this project, because it's from here that I want to start live coding for you guys. Okay. What I did here was just to put the CSS from Foundation so we can have the subnav that I'm going to build very soon. Let me just open this index here, and then we can start. Am I on the right side? No, I think I can. I have to put this one. Yeah. So here, as you can see from Foundation, we can have a subnav, which is this structure, okay? And I'm going to show how to develop a routing how can I say, routing navigation inside your Ember app. Okay, so let's move on to. So this structure is already built here, and I just want to show you guys how I develop the routes. First thing is to declare the route here on the map of the router. This router is responsible to say uh, which which path is responsible for which template inside the Ember app. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to build the about route, and here is a naming convention that we have either route or resource, but resource stands for the nouns that you put. Like uh, if you have a player route, it's a noun, and then you should put resource. In terms of code, it doesn't matter, but it's a good practice to follow this rule. So here about is like an adverb or something. I'll put
Is there a connection between these and like REST APIs or no? It's just because you said player or other nouns as an example. So is this related to routes to a REST API or no?
If we have an integration with a REST API, we can do that approach. But the route itself does not comply with REST API by default. It will be REST API. If I include an adapter, it's a more complex structure. Okay. So okay, here I have the declared the about route. Okay, inside the router map. This means that when I reach my bottom path slash about, I will have an available router. I will not get like 404 or something like that. But let me show you that I can. Oh, sorry, might have done something wrong here. Oh, it's something that I forgot. It's this pound stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was I was thinking about.
Yeah. So now we have a blank route of about. Let me just put this over so you can see the whole path here. All right. So we have the about, but we don't have any content there. How do I say that I want to have content inside the about route? We have to declare this type of script, but calling it to the about route. All right, there's a binding between this about and the about that I declared on the route. Okay.
It's easy to bind this to an external file, like a HTML file.
Yeah. You mean the handlebar script?
Yeah, instead of putting inside the index.html, putting inside another file.
Yes, you can do .handlebars or .hvs files.
Okay, but this is handlebars, not neighbor.
Yeah, this is handlebar scope. So moving on, I'm declaring now the about template here, and I want to show some random stuff like about page even, just to tell that I'm uh, on the right route. Okay. If I refresh, I expect this about page h3 tag to be here. Okay, but so now we know how to bind a template with the route, but how does this template get rendered inside the the main scope. I want to point out this outlet reserved word that has this power of binding which URL or route is being accessed in the current moment in your application. So if I go to the index, it will render the index template. If I go to the about route, it will render the about template. Okay, so it's all binded here. And this is also a good way to show that you can put like header up to the outlet content, and below here you can even put footer. So it will go uh, after the content of that route that you're accessing on the moment. Okay, this is something very good. But our application has one problem. We don't want to type the route every time we want to reach it. So let's use some UI and try to enable this about link here to go to the route that we want it to go. Okay? So what we do, again, using handlebars, helpers, is to replace the anchor tags with something called link to. And link to where? The route that we declared earlier on our app.js file. Does that make sense? So let me just move this and reach the home. And then when I go to about, it will go to the /about route. All right. So this is pretty easy, but you can see that it's not highlighted because DD needs a class active that is currently hard-coded here. So I figured out this solution that I don't really think it's the best one, but it works, so I will not bother about that. I just want it to work right now. It's not the elegant solution, but it fits my needs right now. I'll not bother to that. Let me just move this over so I won't have them both highlighted. All right. Oh, sorry. I did index here and it's supposed to be about. So now we are on home, and when I reach about, it's highlighting about, okay? Okay. So much for UI tags. Let me just copy an example that I already have here. So we have all the links currently working.
Since it's handlebars, you could also use a helper, right? On that class, probably.
Yes. I tried to figure out binding attributes, sort of.
Like Angular.
Yeah, sort of that, but when I reached the Stack Overflow, this was the first solution, so I took it. Let's not bother about that. All right. Let me just see what I'm missing. Okay. I think this might be okay, but I want to go a little bit further right now. Let me just copy this because I will introduce another topic right now about uh, doing a list of songs here that are already declared. So we'll have a route called songs right now. So I have to declare it right here. And since songs are nouns, I will declare as resource, okay? Also good to mention that we can put this in, let me just go back a little and say that we can put alternate paths to this route. So we can show the user something that we don't want to use inside our Ember app. When I do this path, for example, about us, you can see that I just did an alias to the route that was before called about. And now, if I go to home and refresh, and if I reach about, it will reach not the about anymore, but the about us, which is our new alias for this same route. And you can see that I didn't change anything with the handlebars binding because it still has this about for managing stuff inside the Ember application. So moving on to songs, let me say that I have these songs, and now moving forward to something called uh, dynamic segments, which is the construction of an URL that is binded to data that you have. For example, right now I want to build songs, but inside these songs I want to have uh, the idea of the song when I show the details of my list. Okay, and so I will declare another resource called song, but this time it will go to a dynamic segment, which we declare like this. I have to put a semicolon here. Yeah, so this semicolon and song ID is the dynamic segment. The final the final route that I expect to access is slash songs slash, for example, two, if I have two as an ID of uh, my data. Okay, let me put my data here, which is a bunch of songs that I uh, have listed. Not that bunch, but three ones. So you can see it's a simple array with ID, name, band, and avatar. And by avatar, I need to grab the the image, the images. Let me just do that really quickly. Um, Here the images, the albums that I want to bind with the music. Okay, this is my bit. Let's go for a bigger screen, and like this is all right. All right. So as we have done in the index route, we should uh, also have a route to the song list. which is songs. You remember that we declared songs here, so we have to follow naming conventions, declare songs, and route after. So now we have Ember, route, extend. We always extend stuff on EmberJS. Remember that because it's good to know. So here we are just trying to bind as the same that we did before. We're going to return the whole array. But this time, as we have a nested route and the dynamic segment, we will need also a route to the inside the resource that is inside that route. Okay, so I'm going to construct here, and this is the one that will show the details from each song. So here I'm going to extend as I did before, but now the model will behave differently because the function will get the a parameter, right? This parameter is that dynamic segment that we declared here before. So this dynamic uh, variable is binded and is going to get inside this function by this parameter, and I will return the song that is on the position of the array that I want. Okay. Okay. Now let's do something on the template side. This is a bit too much, but I wanted to have full comprehension of the extension of the power of Ember. Guys, here I declared a handlebars template called songs, which is binding to our outermost song route or resource. And I'm dividing the screen into a portion that is going to iterate over the songs and show the name of the song. All right? And this part will go later, but it will go into the details of that song. Let's see if it runs correctly right now. Song list. All right. This is what we have here. You see that this each is different from this one, from index. You see that here I'm more eloquent. I'm telling that I want to bind with the model and I want to iterate with an item variable. But Ember doesn't need that. It has this short notation for each, and you can already assume that you're iterating for the scope of songs template or songs route, the song scope, all right? And then we can see here that if we have as we have the song as the concept, it will grab the variable name to render here. So it's doing that. Okay. Okay, moving on to the next part is, uh, let me explain this a little. The reason that I did this nested routing is because the template is also affected with this kind of structure. You can have nested templates as well. Let me show you that how that behaves. I have here a snippet that I want to place in this portion of code here. So let me just grab this, and but it will call songs, okay? So we just displayed name, but I would like to display more than that. Let me say I want to display like performed by, for example, the band. It's binded to this attribute, okay? And I want to show the image as well. And here on the image we have a quite different attribute binding, because the common sense would be doing it like this. Let me show you how not to do. Source and then avatar, right? You should place avatar as the path inside source, but this is not going to work, okay? The correct way is to explicitly tell that you're going to bind an attribute. This is a reserved word. And here we are going to have the source binding to the path that we want. Let me see how it goes. Yeah. So you can see on the route that we have the 10 as the ID of this object here. Here you can see the 10 and you can see it on the route again. If I move to another, it's going to dynamically replace that data as dynamic segments behave. And it works for everybody here. Okay? And the other routes behave correctly as expected. Uh, Let me go just a little further on the display of this information, because we never touched controllers here on this code, and I would like to introduce the controller for the array, as it should name songs controller, and as it's going to bind to an array, it will have the type array controller. Okay. So what we're gonna do here is try to sort these songs by its name. We have these sort properties, which you can place here to bind any attribute that you want. Now I'm going to put name because I want to sort by the name. And event you can do sort ascending, so you can control if it's descend or ascend. I want ascending, so true. Let's see how this behaves right now. I think it will break. No, that's it.
Have faith.
Yeah. The deal was because when I tested, it seemed that the the forecast of Ember to boilerplate stuff for you was not binding to the song, which is the individual one, correctly. Sometimes it does that, but it's not uh, common to happen. Okay, and so in my previous code, I had an object controller, which is different from this array controller to watch for every single item of the list. You see? So now we have the songs with the correct order, and but they still have the old ID that we hard coded here on this array. Last but not least, let me show you here the Ember inspector, which is the which is the sort of your best friend while developing Ember, because you can see all types of scopes here on this page. We have the application as the outermost, the songs, which is the the whole array that I'm iterating through, and each item is already placed, and the song as the inner resource inside the song's route. Here we have also the routes that you can we have constructed along this live coding. Um, this works like a map, so you can see where you are and figure out some bugs. On this data uh, tab, I will not go into because I just used mocked up data, and there's one good thing called Ember data, which is currently on beta, but works very well to handle uh, CRUD and all data manipulation. I intend to do another talk about Ember data because it handles better forms and stuff. So guys, basically we ended up with three routed app here. On the home, we just had the thing that comes with the starter kit, and the about we just flashed a message to see where we were doing the routing. And then on the song list, we have a more complex behavior, but also it's just displaying information that's already on the back on the JS file. So that's it. Any questions? Let me know. Thanks.